Hey, it's time for another Wisdom of the Masters. I am Sean Webb. Today's wisdom comes from Lord Byron, who said this: "Of its own beauty, the mind is diseased." And so what was he talking about when he said, of its own beauty, the mind is diseased? Well, Lord Byron was talking about the ego and the ego's love of its gratification of itself. And that goes to a fundamental core feature of the brain, which is our organ of survival. Now, the mind says, okay, well, I'm supposed to survive one day into the next. So the limbic system says, I need to check everything for threats. Is this headline a threat? Is this person a threat? Is this idea a threat, etc.? Well, a threat to what? And so I must assemble now a sense of self within the mind that says, okay, these are the things that I am. It starts with the body. And these are the things that I am not. And so I'm going to pile all of the things that I think are us onto this list, into this map of self. It's going to start with the body. It's going to include our friends and family. It's going to include our thoughts and emotions. It's going to include our likes and dislikes. It's going to include our life story. It's going to include all of our stuff, etc. And so if any of these things are never threatened, then we're going to be good. And specifically, if all of these things can maintain status quo or increase in value, then we're going to be happy, including the value of the whole thing together, the whole ego. And so the ego loves to have gratifying things said about it or perceived about all of this stuff on the list, and perception being a key word there in the perceived camp. Because when a perception comes in that someone you love has something positive associated with them, then you have a happy feeling. When someone says something nice about you or your body or your appearance or your whatever or your actions or your job or your whatever, you have a happy feeling associated with that defensive self mechanism within the mind that creates this disease. Because anything that is negative is automatically rejected, or a negative emotion arises because of that negative perception that can be brought forth. Now, that will limit us from growing, from handling any of our potential issues, from being able to improve something. Because if we never face any negative perceptions, then that will limit our life exceptionally. And so this is the disease from which Lord Byron was speaking. He was saying, of its own beauty, its need for its own beauty, its love of its own beauty, the mind is diseased and will keep us in a limited world where we are adverse to change. And so it's important to be mindful of that, not to be so comfy within our own skin that we don't mind a critical eye every now and then that can allow us to change and improve. I hope this message finds you well. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.